This is Artur Rehi, an Estonian military blogger. Previously, he had served in the Estonian army and now supports Ukraine in its struggle against the aggressor. The blogger has already made 4 trips to Ukraine, having provided lots of humanitarian and medical aid, as well as trucks for military units in the Ukrainian army. And now we recorded an exclusive comment for UATV with Artur.
This trip to Ukraine was my 4th trip this year, actually, and me and 69th Sniffing Brigade, it's actually called 69th Sniffing Brigade of NATO. It's designed to be a meme, a very successful support organization for Ukraine, part of NATO. So we delivered trucks to 16 different Ukrainian units. 3 of the trucks were bought by my viewers, and then I launched another fundraiser for my viewers to buy Kamikaze drones for a certain Ukrainian SBU unit. I cannot name the unit, but I can say that they're one of the best units, special forces units that Ukraine has, and their Kamikaze drone unit kill ratio is 50%. The mediocre ratio in Ukraine is about 15, but they have 50, so 3 times higher. This is why I decided to give these drones to them. So right now we have gathered, in 3 to 4 days, we have gathered close to 50,000 euros, which I will use to buy 30 Kamikaze drones and 1 pickup truck for this very specific unit. I saw the drones, I flew with the drones. They are very cheap and mass producible and incredibly effective. One of the drones costs only $700, and it can take out a Ural truck, for example, which is vital for Russian logistics.
We're hearing quite often from world media now about so-called war fatigue in some countries of Europe and America. UATV asked Artur what he thinks about this process as an influencer from Estonia, a country that has Russia on its borders.
War fatigue is something that can be felt by the peoples in the countries who are safe. In Estonia, we have Russia next to us. In Latvia, in Finland, in Lithuania, Poland, you cannot feel war fatigue because it's your country, your life, your culture. So if Ukraine would lose and Russia would take over Ukraine, Estonia would be next. This is how I understand it. So for me, it is personal. I cannot allow war fatigue at all. It's not a choice to feel it or not to feel it. It's a choice of survival, like for the Ukrainians. So no war fatigue. I will continue supporting Ukraine until Ukraine wins. I think Estonians, Latvians, Lithuanians, Finnish, Polish, all these countries and the people understand it the same way. There is no choice for us. It's survive or die.
A widely discussed topic is that allegedly Ukrainian military units which were trained in NATO countries do not fight according to NATO doctrines. Mr. Rehi has a clear answer to this. NATO doctrines provide for massive air superiority and artillery support for ground forces while they are fighting. In the case with Ukraine, there's a huge lag behind in terms of aircraft numbers and artillery shells compared to a full-fledged NATO combat force.
Ukrainians are fighting so much as they can according to NATO doctrine, but there's an issue. NATO doctrine involves heavy artillery and air force usage. Both of these aspects need a lot of planes, a lot of artillery shells, a lot of barrels. We're talking howitzers, self-propelled howitzers. This is behind Western aid. Like, Ukraine has the skills, has the training, the units know how to fight according to NATO doctrine because they have been trained by NATO forces, but they don't have the planes, they don't have the artillery shells enough. So if NATO countries, NATO armies or generals look at Ukraine and they start shifting blame, oh, they're taking losses because they don't fight according to our doctrine, what we taught them, then the reason here is that Ukraine cannot really fight like that because there are no NATO plane above the battlefield. NATO doctrine involves heavy air superiority, which Ukraine does not have at all. So they are implying and implementing NATO doctrine as much as they can, and they're improvising everything else, which they're doing very well.
Soon, Ukrainian pilots will start training on F-16 aircraft in Romania, and combat preparation for F-16 operators is already going on in the United States. But will 70 fighters currently provided by Denmark and the Netherlands significantly change the tide of war?
Yes, I think they will change the dynamics of the battlefield. Now they are not a Wunderwaffe because I'm going to call it a Russian S-300 can shoot down an F-16 plane, as well as the Swedish Saab Gripen plane, which Sweden is thinking right now to give to Ukraine. But it will change a lot of factors. For example, the Russian Ka-52 attack helicopter, the Alligator, is shooting right now missiles towards Ukrainian tanks with impunity. 10 clicks behind the front lines, it shoots its Lemur missiles, they're guided missiles, and Ukraine cannot unfortunately do anything against these helicopters. But with F-16s, they could shoot these choppers down without putting the F-16 in danger. So it would push these helicopters further from the front, changing Ukrainian armored losses, for example. Ukraine will lose fewer armored units thanks to F-16. Now they won't be flying very often directly over the battlefield or the front, because like any Russian fighter, the F-16 would be shot down by anti-air defense systems on the ground.
And lastly, Artur shared his view on how to retain the attention of the world to the brutal war and genocidal policies of Russia that they apply against Ukraine and even Ukrainian children en masse.
Well, you can't. You can't, because every kind of media is doing that very seriously and dramatically covering this war, and people are, as you said, feeling war fatigue. How do I have so many viewers? It's because what you just said, I go against it, I make jokes, I use humor. This is why people watch me. They want this sad and dark information. They want to feel it, but they don't want to feel bad after it. So I give the same information through a humor lens. So I'm pro-Ukraine, everybody knows this, but I will find humor in these dark times. And every time I've gone to Ukraine and saw these soldiers who have lost their friends, they're making jokes every day, every minute. So for me, humor and jokes is a vital thing, how to stay relevant and how to stay interesting and how to give people something positive in their days.
Be sure to check out the channel of Artur and subscribe to him and UATV on YouTube. Till the next time.